What? The answer to solving the state's budget shortfall is letting convicted felons out of jail? Well, if Governor Richardson signs a piece of legislation passed during the special session, that's exactly what will happen. News 13's Alex Tomlin has the impact to your safety. She's live in the Newsplex.
Diane, House Bill 17 would cut state agencies' budgets by a little more than 7%. This means prisons will close and inmates that should be in jail will be right back out on the streets. It's early.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Bernalillo County Sheriff Darren White is not happy.
The system is already too easy on criminals in New Mexico.
And White says it'll get easier if the governor approves budget cuts passed by the legislature. The Corrections Secretary says he will have to close 2 prisons, one in Grants and the other near Roswell. After some consolidating at other facilities, anywhere from 530 to 660 inmates will be released from custody and put in probation and parole's care. These are inmates behind bars for non-violent crimes, such as drugs or car thefts, and with less than a year to go on their sentences.
It may and probably impact the way that we service offenders.
Newly released prisoners will automatically be labeled as high risk. To handle them, probation and parole officers will have to keep less of an eye on the 1,800 low-risk ex-cons they're already supervising.
Maybe putting them at a lower supervision status and not having them report as much.
Deputy Director for Probation and Parole David Jablonski says officials will make a push to
try to get more offenders off supervision at an earlier time to try to deal with this impact.
I got to tell you, I'm very concerned. If we release these offenders into the streets, we will see a spike in crime. It is likely when we do this, one of these offenders will probably kill someone. Well, that's not a risk, that's not a chance that I think we should take.
Sheriff White says this is not the Band-Aid we need to fix the budget.
Yes, these are tough economic times, but make this the last resort when you even consider something like this. And how do you put a price tag on someone being hurt or tragically killed?
Everyone released from prison into probation and parole would need to be kept on active GPS ankle monitors. Right now, probation and parole doesn't have enough ankle monitors to handle a flood of new high-risk offenders. Diane, back to you.
All right, Alex. Now, the 2 prisons on the chopping block are the women's prison in Grants and the Roswell Correctional Facility. The women in Grants would be transferred to the nearby men's prison. Early releases would come from prisons around the state.